What types of leisure activities are popular in your country? This is a great question for me and as an Irish, and I'll be truly glad to reply your query. In Ireland, there are different types of leisure activities for all types and classes of people. There are a large number of rivers, lakes, hills and open fields are available across the country, and accordingly, the people have set their own leisure activities. The most prominent leisure activities in Ireland are golfing, cycling, fishing, walking, rugby, horse riding, etc. The activities are undertaken by all ages of people and help them to keep fit. Besides, these are the common forms of entertainment of the Irish people. The cycle ride helps the people to be physically fit and discover the country from a different perspective. When you are on the bicycle ride, you'll be able to explore the nature and its wonders in the country. Besides, in line with adventures, the riders will be able to get familiar with numerous secondary streets, high mountains, and stunning landscapes of the country. Further, there are many golf courses available in every part of the country, including Northeast, West and South Ireland. Thereby, the sports-loving people go in all the golfing clubs to pass their leisure hours. Why it is important for people to have time for leisure activities. Leisure, I think, is an important thing for the human beings and is one of the essential needs too. It is a must for several reasons, and I think there are two important benefits are the key factors to make it important. Firstly, it provides us mental satisfaction for the participants in the activities, and secondly it provides physical fitness to them as well. Recreational activities are essential for human to live a better and healthy life. When people are engaged in their works only, their working qualities get down to a great extent. It happens as they are bored with the regular routine works. The routine makes the life dull and boring. As a result, people cannot concentrate on their activities. The quality of the work falls. But when they participate in the leisure activities, it appears that they are recharged. The regular routine is broken with the leisure activities, which bear positive impacts on their body and mind. I think you will also have the same opinion about participation in the leisure activities with me, don't you? Besides, people may not manage time to perform some physical exercise on their usual days, and when they take part in different outdoor leisure activities, they go through a good form of physical pressures which help to reduce their week-long stress in a single day. So, for a wide range of reasons, people should have time for leisure activities. Why are some activities more popular than others? Right you are. Some activities are sometimes different or popular from the other activities. I'm afraid a few words are rarely enough to express the entire causes. To be brief, the activities mostly change or become popular for several reasons. Firstly, when the activity is accessible to everyone and costs less than the other activities of the same type, it becomes popular. Secondly, the activity should be easier and comfortable for all ages of people. Besides, the activity should also be entertaining. If the activity has no entertaining value, it won't be able to attract attentions of the common people. To take an example, I can recall the horse riding in Ireland. There are fewer people who own a horse for riding during the leisure hours, as this is a costly issue. Besides, its maintenance is also a troublesome issue for many of the Irish. But if you consider bicycle riding, you'll find it more popular than horse ride. Why? It is because of the accessibility. Riding a horse is easy, but maintenance is tougher, while there are no such notable maintenance issues with a bicycle. You'll need a small barn for the horse, whereas a bicycle could be kept at any corner of the house and even under the stairway. Are the types of leisure activities that are popular today the same as those that were popular when your parents were young? It is a regret that the activities are not the same as my parents did in their youths and we are doing in our times. A lot of changes have taken place regarding the leisure activities in Ireland. But it should be acknowledged that the activities have been massively changed comparing the past days. I think you are also well informed about the past leisure activities in Ireland. Earlier, there were fewer types of activities in the country, but now there are a wide number of activities available around different parts of the country. Horse riding, hiking and fishing were the common sources of passing leisure hours, and my parents used to participate in the activities. You won't believe how large fishes my father had caught in his early days. Day out with family and friends was another popular pastime for them, which is rare in the current days. But the growth of time and technology, different sorts of activities has been invented which have influenced the youths of my days greatly. Some of the current day activities are of extreme excitement. Golfing is my preferred leisure activity, and I have participated in different competitions too. My success in golfing is enviable to other golfers. What types of leisure activities may become more popular in the future? There will be changes in the form of leisure activities. I think you have noticed that there are already changes have begun in the surroundings. The kids and youths are passing more time on social networking website, watching television programs and playing exciting video games. I think after 5 to 10 years, video games or social websites, etc. would be the greatest source of entertainment for the youths of that time. But the appeal of hiking, fishing, day out with family and friends, riding horses, etc. would remain the same as it is today. 1. What types of leisure activities are popular in your country? 2. Why it is important for people to have time for leisure activities. 3. Why are some activities more popular than others? 4. Are the types of leisure activities that are popular today the same as those that were popular when your parents were young? 5. What types of leisure activities may become more popular in the future? Shopping. 1. Is shopping a popular activity in your country? 2. How have shopping habits changed over recent years? 3. To what extent do you think advertising affects the way people shop? 4. Do you think shopping habits are likely to change in the future? Is shopping a popular activity in your country? Thank you for the question. Yes, shopping is one of the preferable activities in Singapore, and there are large shopping malls across the country to entertain the shoppers. It is very common activity in my country, and most of the time the shopping malls are crowded with visitors. The most important thing is that almost 60% of the shoppers belong to foreign countries who come here to shop their necessaries. Besides, the products they get are the best in their class and quality. So, most of the foreigners, particularly who came here before, rely on the shopping malls of Singapore. The most important thing for shopping in Singapore is that the sellers do not compromise with the quality, while the prices are also cheaper comparing the other countries. Additionally, there is a wide range of products and services are available in the shopping malls. It will unbelievable to you that almost all types of modern products and services are available in the shopping malls, including dresses and attires, toys, cosmetics, jewelry, perfumes, electronic gadgets and many more things beyond your imagination. They are of various designs, colors and sizes to fit all classes of people. Moreover, sometimes the buyers could get some discounts on their shopping, and you know the discounts are offered primarily during the Christmas or New Year occasions. How have shopping habits changed over recent years? Well, the shopping habits have been changed greatly in the recent years. Earlier, people used to shop once or twice in a year, and therefore, there were less shopping centers or malls for the consumers. But Singapore, being a tourist country, is visited over 10 million tourists in a year, and to meet their growing demands for shopping, a large number of shopping malls have been built. Interestingly, the shopping malls were made to attract the tourists visiting the country, but the natives of Singapore were also attracted greatly. As I told you earlier that there were 1 or 2 occasions for shopping for us in the country, now we shop round the year. People now prefer to go to the shopping malls rather than bargaining at the street markets. Though the street markets have lost some of their clients, they are still the charming places for a good number of natives and tourists. When the shopping was done at the street markets, the sellers and buyers had to bargain over the price of the products and services. In fact, the sellers demanded 4 or 5 times higher prices to make a huge profit, while the buyers bargained a lot to get the things. But in the shopping malls, There are almost fixed price for the products and services, and sometimes there are few discounts on specific products. To what extent do you think advertising affects the way people shop? Great question. I think you are also sometimes influenced by advertisements, don't you? Like buying a pack of chips or getting a wristwatch, etc., are frequently influenced by advertisement. So, we are to admit that advertisement is a great way to influence the people's decision over getting any specific service or product. You know that the advertisements are made to remind us that we are in need of any specific thing, service or product, and the advertisers are there to support us in our needs. Sometimes, in my personal life, I have seen that advertisement has changed the entire decision over a specific issue. So, it is clear that advertisement is the greatest way to persuade people to get the advertised product. Do you think shopping habits are likely to change in the future? This is an uncertain issue, but to me, it appears that due to e-commerce the entire shopping system may get a massive change in near future. Now people go to the shopping malls, pick their necessaries and get back home. But when the e-commerce will boom, there will be no such physical visit at the shopping malls. Rather, the clients will sit before a computer, will have some mouse clicks to search their desired product or services, and will order for that. Then the selling authority will deliver the product to the doorstep of the consumer. I think you are well informed that the e-commerce has started such activities in different parts of the world, and it is available in Singapore too, in some limited scale. Someday it may happen that everything, including the shopping, is also being done virtually. Sports. What types of sports are popular in your country? Well, India is a land of sports, and the outdoor sports are mostly preferred in the country. There are a large number of games and sports are played across the country, including cricket, soccer, badminton, kabaddi, cycling, golf, ice hockey, basketball, volleyball, table tennis, wrestling, boxing, etc. But the country is globally famous for its top-class cricket playing team, Team India. Cricket has occupied the highest position in the country in comparison with the other games and sports, and is played everywhere of the country. Recently, motorsport has gained much priority in India, and racing are also held on different occasions with the sponsorship of large corporations or multinational companies. If I talk about indoor games of India, chess will be at the top position, and various chess championship events take place round the year. For our information, when I was in my college, I was the chess champion of my department. Though soccer is an important outdoor sport in India, it could not shine that much in the international arena like cricket did. But whatever the game or sport is, the participation of the common Indians on the sports as the audience is spontaneous. Sometimes they wait in long queue for having a ticket of any international cricket match both in and outside of India to enjoy and inspire the players. But sometimes they turn violent on losing the matches, as they are always on the view to grab the victory. It is sad that when their dreams shatter, they turn the worst audience. What are the benefits of playing a sport? I think initially there are 3 benefits of participating in a sport, and they are physical benefits, psychological benefits, and social benefits. When you are participating in a sport, you are having sufficient physical movements, which are termed medically as physical exercise. We all need physical exercises for a healthy life and living. When we lack the proper physical movements, we cannot burn the calories we take through foods, and consequently we turn the victim of different diseases. Sometimes the seriousness of the diseases leads to death as well. You know, we all are to die someday, but a premature death by diseases is entirely unwanted for all. Secondly, when you are participating in sports, you are having enjoyment through the sport. Participation in games and sports make the mind free of worries and unnecessary tensions of the players. So, psychologically you are remaining free of stress, which consequently will lead you to happiness and a sound mental state. Finally, when you are attending in sports either by being a spectator or contestant, socially you are marching ahead. You are having the chance to meet and greet other people, including players and audiences, which increase your social value. You are potentially growing the field of influence in the society by meeting with a large number of people, while a sense of brotherhood is also being created. Your access and acceptance in every sphere of the society is being opened. Therefore, it is important to participate more and more in games and sports. Do you think the types of sport that are popular will change in the future? If you ask me individually, then my answer will be that we may experience a substantial change in the sports and games for the aggressive emergence of virtual games and sports. Earlier, people used to participate in sports out of the home, while the kids and youths of the current days participate in a wide sort of games and sports before their computer. Using internet connection, they play different games and sports with each other, and sometimes by forming local groups. This may have some negative impact on the real-life sports and games. Earlier, chess competitions were held around the year, soccer players were hailed in the playing grounds, while the cricketers were adored for their performances. But in the current days, the number of such large competitions has reduced to some extent. If you ask the reason, then I'll refer it to the available and accessibility to the virtual options. The kids and youths of the day are unwilling to participate or be the audience for the events. Since a large portion of the audience is lost by this way of virtual gaming, multinational corporations are afraid to sponsor the events lest their advertisements turn into failures. I'm afraid that an age is appearing where people will be playing or participating in different games and sports sitting before their computer desk. How can sports bring people from different countries closer together? It is true that sports can bring nations together. When an international sporting event takes place in a country, people of different nations crowd to see the event. When they spend a notable time together, they get familiar with each other, and a sense of friendship is formed among them. It helps to create a social bonding, and sometimes they get connected with the social networks. You are highly familiar with social networks, aren't you? So, I think you could get my point. Thus, they come closer and the relationships are cordial and longer lasting too in some cases. This is the charisma of sports in uniting people from different. Playing computer games. Do you think that playing computer games has an advantage for children? Why? Thanks for your question. I think you are well informed that this is the age of technological advancement. Kids of these days are highly versed with the technological tools, mostly they are familiar with computers. There are a wide number of computer games have been developed for them. I think the games are advantageous to them for several reasons. The first and important fact is that the games teach them to work independently. When they play the video games on computers, they are to decide numerous things before moving forwards with their respective games. They are to set strategies and plan for attacks on the action games. When they are playing strategic games, they are to plan slowly to reach the goals. So, it appears that the computer games have some educative values as well, which are not available in the textbooks. Besides, the computer games allow them to learn about various things and issues that were unknown to them before starting the game. To me, it appears that if the kids are disallowed to play computer games, they will miss great things in their life. They try to imitate the gaming characters in their real life, and who knows that someday they won't be the iconic figure like the character on the game? Thereby, children should be allowed to play computer games. Do you think it helps them to be less violent? Why? Well, I heard a saying that the end justifies the means. There are both positive and detrimental impacts are found for everything, and computer games are not an exception. The nature of games decides whether the kids would be violent or not. When a child plays action games more and more, where he is exposed to various sorts of violence like shooting at people or at war field, killing people indiscriminately, damaging properties, driving vehicles roughly, I think they would turn violent in their real-life situations. They are frequently exposing the violence on the screen, and subconsciously they are influenced by the actions. So, they try to imitate the activities in their day-to-day life which is unwanted. But if they are with strategic games where they have to invest their brain, I think they would be less violent. I think the issue of being less violent in their activities largely depends on their contact with the games. Since they are kids and immature in nature, they are easily influenced by the gaming issues. Their subconscious minds grab the things, and thus they should be allowed to be in touch with the strategic and puzzle games so that they could exercise their intelligence. The game of other genres should be given at least when they will have the ability to decide about the right and the bad, and to me, it appears that the teenage is the most appropriate time to get the action games. Why are such games so popular? What is better in your view, virtual or physical communication? Why? Great question. I think you will agree on the point that nowadays the kids lack the open spaces like playgrounds or open fields or spaces where they could have participated in outdoor sports and game. As a result, they turn sort of homesick due to computer games. As there are varieties of games with special and attractive features, the tender minds are easily trapped with the attractions. They actually lack the knowledge that they are getting introvert for their addiction to computer games. The games are attractive and could make them spellbound, though. Besides, they are getting in touch with their friends and family members in virtual networks, which I think is a concern for us. They are frequently building virtual relations and communicating through the social networking sites, which contain potential damages for them. They lack the knowledge that physical communication is much better than being intimate in the virtual world. To be more frank with you, when you are in danger or uncomfortable with the unwanted issues, you could seek help to people you know in your real life. You can share your thoughts and emotions with your friends and family members, and they could provide you or guide you with the right solutions. But if you share the problems with your virtual friends, they wouldn't be of so help to you. I have experienced a wide range of such issues and came to the decision that we do not need to rely on our virtual relations. If we rely on them, we are to be frustrated. 1. What is the most popular sport in your country? 2. Vietnam is one of the important countries that play football most in association with the other sports and games. Football is considered as the most popular sport in the country, and cricket is in the second position of the favorite list. Vietnam has a strong team both for football and cricket, but the teams need more improvement to shine in the international events. Besides, some other games are also uprising in the country, and rugby is one of those. Vietnam has a good history of tennis, running, badminton and athletics. Chess is considered as one of the most important intellectual sport for the country, and most of the time the country wins in different international chess competitions. Martial art has also a notable berth on the national sports list. 3. 4. What are the best ways to keep fit? 5. Well, there are several ways to keep fit. The first way is running in the morning or in the evening hours. Running has some positive impacts on the human body. It helps to strengthen the muscles and gives them a shape. Besides, walking is the other form of exercise, and it is preferable for all ages of people irrespective of gender. People can walk an hour in a day, which will help to keep them fit in all ages. Besides, cycling is another good way to remain fit. Unfortunately, most of the people in the current age have become lazy, and thus they are getting inactive within the first half of their life cycle. If they used to do hard labor in their daily life, they could have been active for more days. But now some of the people have become health conscious and get out of the bed early for some physical activities in the morning. 6. 7. What is the most popular form of exercise in your country? 8. Walking is the most popular form of exercise in Vietnam. People usually get up early in the morning and go out for a morning walk. The walk lasts for around an hour, and mostly the people walk in the parks while some of the people walk on the empty streets. But I think parks are the best places for walking in the morning because there are trees in the parks which provide the fresh oxygen to the morning walkers. If they are on the streets, there are some chances of accidents, as some of the vehicles are seen running speedily on the street in morning hours as there are less traffics. People walk for different benefits, and doctors are on the view that walking helps to prevent different diseases. walking is also considered as an effective exercise for the heart. So, I think, walking has become the most important and popular exercise in my country. 9. 10. Do you think people in your country are less healthy than they used to be? 11. No, I disagree with the point. People in my country are healthy enough and they do not need to be anymore. They are having proper and nutritious diets, having the required exercises and the required rests. The lifestyle they are leading is also healthy and keeps them happy always. So, when it is judging about their health, the entire health conditions should be kept in consideration. So, I cannot agree with the statement about their health. Most of the Vietnamese people are healthy and stout in terms of their physical and mental health. The number of patients is reduced to a great extent and the average lifespan has also been increased. 12. How can we encourage young people to stay healthy? 13. There are some young people who follow unhealthy lifestyles and finally turn to a victim of different diseases. They do not know how to lead a happy and healthy life. So, they should be inspired on health and sanitation issues. The first thing is that they lack awareness. So, if proper awareness-raising activities could be adopted to make them sensitized over the health issues, I think that could result in some positive impacts. Motivational activities should be undertaken and the youths should be involved with the activities. Besides, the youths should be kept active over the health-related issues in their real life. If the health issues could be made with fun, I believe that the participation of the youths will be increased to a great extent. 14. 15. Should governments intervene to force people to be healthier? 16. I think it should not be wise for the government to force people to be healthier. In fact, it varies from individual to individual whether they want to be healthy or not. It is a private issue and the government does not have right to intervene on such issue. Rather, the government could take some alternative measures so that the importance of health is comprehended among the citizens of the country. Sports in school. Do you think that sport is important in school? Well, I think this is important that a school should have some sort of sports for its students for several reasons. The most important thing about a school is that this is not mere an educational institution, it is a place to make the students fit to combat with the future challenges and struggles, and thus they need to be physically fit. It is not the academic books, assignments or homeworks that bring the physical fitness, rather sports play the greatest roles in this respect. Besides, it also helps to create a congenial environment for the students to grow up mentally and socially. They are to communicate with the other students and stakeholders regarding any specific sport or sports competition. But among the various benefits, I prefer the physical one. Further, when the students participate in sports, they become aware of their rights and responsibilities during the sporting process assigned to them, which helps them to learn real-life skills. So, for all these reasons, I think it is important for the schools and other educational institutions to have sports as their extracurricular activity so that the students could derive benefit from it. Why do you think it is important? Actually, it is tougher for me to explain the importance of sports in schools within this short time. I think sport helps people to get self-esteem. It is found in several kinds of research that sports help people to have good figures in their academic activities. Usually, the students who participate in sports are good students as well. If you consider the health benefits, you will see that there are a wide range of benefits available. Sports will make the student physically stout and cut their stress. It will increase their stamina. Further, sports build a team spirit, and that is so helpful in academic activities too. When they work in a team to reach their goal, a sense of deep bonding is created naturally among the players and the team spirit continues even after the sport is over. When they go to attend any academic activities or course, they help each other to overcome the academic obstacles. Do you like team or individual sports? Why? Thanks. I mostly like to participate in team sports. There are a wide number of reasons behind the preference. The first and most important cause is that a team owns more chance to win the game. When you are playing solo, you might not have the ability to undergo all the required responsibilities alone. But, if you are in a team, the responsibilities are shared among the team members. You have to carry out your own parts assigned by the team leader. As a result, the possibilities to win the game increase more. Another important factor behind preferring a team is that it helps to socialize. When you are in a team, you are to interact with the other team members. You have to communicate with them, share your thoughts, and sometimes you may also suggest someone over any specific issue you are good at, etc., and the activities help to raise your social skills. Finally, to me, it appears that losing doesn't matter when you are in a team. Doing new things. 1. Why do you think some people like doing new things? Well, I think you will agree with me on this point that humans are curious by nature. So, they are always busy in inventing newer things. But the inventions are not always meant for the use, rather they are the result of the deep curiosity. When people turn more curious, they try to explore their surrounding and perform newer experiments. When the inventions become useful in some cases, they become happy and keep their activities of doing new things on. Besides, most of the people do new things to meet their thirst for the unknown and the unseen. They usually do new things when they are in a new environment. But there are some other people as well who are reluctant to do new things, and it has been found that they are introvert in nature. Further, it is often fun for the people to do new things, and I think most of the people do new experiments only for enjoyment. What problems can people have when they try new activities for the first time? Right you are. There might be several problems when people performing newer things for the very first time. I think it may happen that the entire task may get disturbed seriously. Or the performers may injure themselves. It is quite natural that there would be some mess for anything if that is done for the first time. I have also experienced that the entire project was destroyed for the novices. The first thing the novices may experience is the adjustment with the thing. For instance, if you want to drive or ride a motorbike, initially you might experience some maladjustment with the motorbike riding. If you make some minor accidents and break some of the parts of the motorbike, that will be appreciated as well as you are riding for the very first time. But, after a few days, when you will be comfortable with the riding and driving, there would be no such minor accidents. Thereby, I think the adjustment is a big issue in the case of first time. Do you think it's best to do new things on your own or with other people? Why? If you want my opinion, in this case, I would rather prefer to be in a team instead of making a solo attempt. I think it is best to be in a team in such cases. When you are trying something new, you might have no idea about the thing, and there are chances to make mistakes. But if you work with other people, it may happen that someone among the other members is aware of the issue or have some sort of knowledge that may prove helpful. Besides, when you are working alone and if you fail, the entire responsibilities are on you. But if you are with a team or other people, you are not to be blamed alone. Consequently, you won't be ashamed of the activity. So, I think this is best to work with people. What kinds of things do children learn to do when they are very young? How important are these things? When the children are young, they mostly learn about the reactions of their surroundings as they see those reactions performed by their parents and family members. If the family is educated and well-mannered, the children will learn some amicable behaviors and they will start exercising those with others. But if the children belong to families where there is no peace at all, they will be influenced with negativity. Negative attitudes will influence them and they will apply the ways in their regular life. This is a crucial issue for the children and helps them to grow socially. When they will learn some of the best social practices from their family, they will apply the practices in their surrounding and finally they will have some good friends and well reputation. On the other hand, if the initial learning is below standard, it is expected that the children will be out of the track and will grow up without the sense of morality. Do you think children and adults learn to do new things in the same way? How is their learning style different? Well, The question is a bit grave. The learning style for the adults and the children is almost the same. But there are some basic differences. When the adults learn something new, they usually hide their emotions while the kids cannot hide the emotions, and thus they are seen cheerful when they learn new things. There are no notable changes have been found so far regarding the learning style of the adult and the children. Both of them are seen curious in learning and try to be as much attentive as possible for them. Besides, both the learners try to exercise what they have learned and spend a part of the day to have the practice. So, it is proven that the kids and adults learn new things in almost the same way. Some people say that it is more important to be able to learn new things now than it was in the past. Do you agree or disagree with that? Why? Yes, I agree with the statement, as there are different changes found in the current days. Many of the past things and issues have been changed greatly. So, it is highly important for all to learn about the new things or they will fail to move forward. This is the age of science, technology, and newer inventions. Each of the inventions is applicable in human life and been invented to make the life easier than the past days. So, if people remain unaware of the new things or the inventions, it will be detrimental for them in the long run. They will lag behind in the race, and their advancement will get a sudden blow as well. Thereby, capacities should be increased to learn about new things, and this is important for all, indeed. 17. 18. Reading books. 19. What is the difference between men and women when choosing what to read? 20. Well, the question is important in the current context, as reading books is becoming an occasional issue for people for the hefty lifestyle. Usually, men are not that much interested in reading books comparing to women. Women read more books in a year than men do. But there are some basic differences over the issue of book selection. Men usually want to have thrills. They, in fact, are in love with actions and thrilling events. So, regarding the books choosing, they like the books which are filled with action events. It happens to them that they are participating in the action sequences of the books, like firing with guns, having a battle with the villains, and much more. But the scenario is different for the women. A majority of women prefer to read books without any violence or fighting. They, in fact, love to read romantic books or science fictions or simple novels dealing with mental complexities where the plots are made with great care and violence is absent. They also love to read books on traveling or biographies. Women are also in love with the books that deal with intelligence, detective stories. But some of the women are found in love with the spy thrillers like James Bond. Besides, the reading taste is different following geographical locations. Availability of the books is also a great issue. I have found that when there are nothing much to read, both the men and women read whatever they get before them. So, it could be classified that due to the tame nature, women are fond of books which have no issues that may irritate them mentally. Actually, books with action or battles are ignored by women. But they also like to read books on history and also like to wipe tears by being emotional with the outcomes of the characters and plots. But men are a bit different in this case. Being stronger in mental faculty, they easily can adjust to the harsh events on the books. Their mental strength is also greatly responsible for picking books for them. 21. 22. What kind books do children like? Why do they like reading? 23. Usually children like comic books most. They love to read comics and have already picked their own characters. The comic characters have become so popular that even movies have been made based on the characters. Besides, they like to read science fictions, novels on different childish issues, etc. The novels which are made for the kids are of the special type. Those books are devoid of any adult issues like romantic events in the life of the characters in the novels or any violence, etc. The novels are composed simply to entertain the kids, and sometimes the books are educative as well. Besides, children also love books on geography as they come to know about different parts of the world with the books, and their feelings turn sharper when they find the books with illustrations. Some of the parents encourage their kids to read books on general knowledge to build up knowledge of the contemporary issues. 24. 25 Kids like to read books for several reasons. But not all the children are equal. A large portion of the children prefer watching television or participating in sports and game, while the rest others attached with books and better known as the bookworms. They like reading because they find interest in the stories and events they go through the books. In fact, book reading a great hobby for many of the kids. Since books make them aware of different issues and they become benefited by applying the knowledge in their real life, they like books. Further, they like books as the reading help them greatly to increase their vocabulary. Reading through different stories and events, they become aware of the surrounding issues and build a self-confidence inside. Reading also helps to broaden their imagination power and comprehension with the real-life issues. The more they will read, the more they will be self-sufficient. 26. 27. What is the difference between reading and watching TV? 28. Yes, there are a good number of differences in reading books and television watching. Reading is always respected, and there is a saying that smart and intelligent people love to read books while the lazy and inactive people watch television. But the statement is not applicable in all cases. If you read a book and watch a movie on the same theme on television, there will be some differences. When you are reading a book, you are learning directly from the book. The thoughts of the author are entering your brain directly. You are becoming a part of the events, and sometimes the events might take place before your eyes, if the author is a mighty one with his pen. You are gaining knowledge over any specific issue. Moreover, reading requires a skill that everyone cannot develop. On the other side, when you are watching television, you might watch it for entertainment, and in most of the cases, you cannot get any learning from the television watching. Reading is an exercise. It is a mental exercise. In the books, you may start thinking about the conclusions, but finally, there are some changes with the conclusion made by the author. But in television, not such interactive issues are found. Besides, there are no commercials found in the books, whereas the television channels are always seeking scopes to run television commercials. 29. 30. What is the relationship between reading and computer? 31. There is no direct relationship between reading and computer. The key relation between them is that books are now found in digital format and computers help to read them. Earlier, and even now, books are printed on paper and people are to get the book from a market. But with the advancement of science and technology, now the books are found in electronic format. Those formats are readable on a computer. Sometimes people cannot go to the bookstores and get their desired books, and they download the electronic version of the books and read on a computer. But I think reading a virtual book is not that much interesting as reading a real-life book. When you are reading a virtual book of PDF or other readable formats, you are simply reading the stories or going through the events. But when you will have a real book in your hand and start reading that, you will feel a different type of feeling insides. The smell emitted from the book pages will make you passionate for the book. Besides, you can collect the books physically on a shelf, and there are fewer chances for the books to be destroyed or damaged if you take the right care. But if you store books on a computer, those books may be easily destroyed for several reasons. Firstly, computer is the device that runs on electricity and vulnerable to electrical conditions. So, if there is any mismanagement with the electricity connection, the books may get lost. Besides, the stored files or books may also be corrupt for viruses and other reasons. So, I think it is better to read real books instead of the books on a computer. 32. 33. What are the advantages of reading books? 34. I think the first and the topmost benefit of reading is gaining knowledge. When we read books over different issues, we gain knowledge. Reading helps us to know the unknown. It opens the door of knowledge before the readers. Besides, reading also helps to reduce stress. When people are in stress, they read books to reduce the stress level. Reading is a kind of stimulant for the people suffering stress. Reading also helps to focus on any specific issue because when people read books, they actually concentrate on the theme or topic of the books. At that time, their sense of concentration is sharpened. Moreover, the people who have formed a good reading habit are considered as better writers than ordinary people. When they read books, they become familiar with different writing styles, and when they want to write by themselves, they start following the styles and their word selection also becomes developed. Scientifically, it is proven that reading books is more effective to improve your mental health. When you will read books, your intelligence level will be improved and your thoughts will be sharpened as well. You will be familiar with a newer world and all of your activities will be influenced by the knowledge you gain through reading. 35. 36. Why do children like pictorials? 37. Yes, children like to have pictorials than texts. Pictorials have a different sort of appeal to the children, and I think you are well aware of the fact that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Being immature with the mental faculty, the children require much time to relate with the things they read on the books. But if there are pictorials attached with the texts or the book is about pictorials entirely, it becomes easier for them to comprehend the issue. Pictorial helps them to relate to the subject matter easily. The interpretation is easier on pictorials than the texts. For instance, if you want your kid to describe a dog in texts, I think it would be difficult for you. But, if you show the image of a dog, it would be easier for the kid to understand and develop an idea on what a dog actually is. Additionally, the pictures are colorful and sketched with the care that attracts the kids easily. The colorful pictures are also considered as the other key elements to attract them for the pictorials. 38. 39. What books are popular in your country? 40. People love reading in Russia. Here, mostly novels are popular among the adult people. Besides, the books of the other countries written in English are also common in the superstores and book-selling stores. People mostly like to read fictions, romantic novels and science fictions. The writers of my country have also produced a great number of books and which have been translated into different languages. They also have made their birth on people's mind, and accordingly a substantial number of publishing houses are annually publishing the books. Some of the books become bestsellers as well for the outstanding plots and characters. There are all ages of readers are available in the country and the books are accordingly written to entertain them. 41. What do you do to keep fit? 42. This is indeed a good question to answer. Usually, I ride on bicycles to keep myself fit. As I have to stay longer hours at my office, I do not have much time to take other forms of physical exercise. Thereby, with the advice from my family doctor, I have bought a bicycle. I use it to reach my office and come back home again in the dusk or night. I work for an IT company and assigned with different responsibilities. So, when I am at the office, there are no scopes to return home early. As a result, I do not have chances to join with any physical exercises. But by the same time, I have to keep myself fit at any cost. So, riding the bicycle was a good idea, and now I am experiencing the benefits of the ride. Earlier, I developed some unnecessary fats on my body, but since I am riding the bicycle for past 6 months, the fats are gone. Moreover, I have developed some muscles which are in great shape and make me look better than before. 43. 44. Are you good at sport? 45. Yes, I am very good at sport. In my early days, sports were the most common form of entertainment and many of the kids like me were fond of sports. So, most of us have gained skills in different sports and now can boast with the skills they gained in the childhood, as the kids of the current days do not have such chances to be an expert in sports and other physical competitions. When I was a teen, I used to participate in almost all the sports completion in my school and college. Though I could not be the top, I won several prizes for the participations. Tennis was my favorite sports and I still like it most. In my college days, I stood the second in inter-college lawn tennis championship competition. Besides, I also like to participate in other sports as well which are held in outdoors. 46. 47. What sports do you play? 48. Usually, I love playing tennis. I can play both the form of tennis, naming the lawn tennis and the table tennis. But I am more skilled in lawn tennis than the shorter version on the table. Besides, I like to participate in martial arts, golf, football, cricket, hunting and hockey. I like to participate in cricket most as a notable number if players are included in the sport. Besides, if one of the team loses, there are no chances to feel ashamed as this is a team sport. But when you are playing individually, like when I participate in martial arts, the defeats are all mine, and if I am the winner, I have none to share the joy with. Whatever the victory or defeat is, participation is the big issue for me.